How many times have you met a guy? Everything starts off amazing. He's calling, texting, making plans, telling you how much he likes you. And then suddenly, boom, the energy shifts. The effort slows down. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? Let's get one thing straight. It's not about playing games. It's not about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about understanding what really keeps a man emotionally hooked, not just temporarily interested. Attraction is easy. He can find a pretty face anywhere. But if he's emotionally invested, that's when he stays. An emotional investment doesn't come from giving him everything on a silver platter. It comes from creating experiences that make him feel something when he's with you. How do you do that? By being a woman who challenges, excites, and inspires him. A woman who brings value to his life, not just with her looks, but with her energy, her confidence, and her standards. Here's the truth. A man won't stay with you just because you're nice to him. If that were enough, every kind-hearted woman would have the relationship of her dreams. What really keeps him hooked is knowing that he has something special, something that he can't just find anywhere. If a man starts to lose interest, don't panic. Instead, ask yourself, am I still showing up as the woman I was when he first met me? Some people say be mysterious. Don't let him know too much. Others say be completely open and vulnerable. The truth? It's about balance. Being mysterious doesn't mean being distant or playing mind games. It means having layers, letting him discover more about you over time. Too much too soon can feel overwhelming, but too little and he won't feel connected. The secret is knowing when to reveal and how to keep the excitement alive. The most attractive quality you can have? Confidence. Not arrogance, not acting like you don't care, but real, genuine self-assurance. Confidence is saying, I don't need to convince you to like me. I already know my worth. If you stop putting in effort, I'll match that energy. I'm here because I choose to be, not because I need you. A woman who stands firm in her value is magnetic. She doesn't have to beg for attention. She naturally commands. Now, when I say challenge, I don't mean making him work for your love in a toxic way. I mean keeping the spark alive by maintaining a sense of playfulness, excitement, and slight unpredictability. Instead of always saying yes to plans, sometimes say, I'd love to, but I already made plans. How about another night? When he gives you a compliment, tease him back. Oh, so now you're finally noticing, took you long enough. If he gets comfortable and stops putting in effort, don't complain. Instead, shift your focus back to your life and let him notice the shift. A man values what he earns. Keep the relationship dynamic and he'll stay engaged. Ladies, listen carefully. The moment you start asking, does he like me? You lose your power. The real question is, do I like him? Because when you focus on whether he is choosing you, you start adapting to please him. But when you focus on whether he deserves you, you naturally show up as the woman who keeps him hooked without even trying. And here's the best part. The right man will love this energy. A real man wants a woman who is strong in her standards, who keeps him on his toes, and who isn't afraid to walk away from what doesn't serve her. Attraction may get a man's attention, but it's emotional investment that keeps him hooked. A relationship that's built solely on physical attraction is like a firework. It burns bright, but it doesn't last. Emotional connection, on the other hand, is what makes a man feel deeply tied to you in a way that goes beyond surface-level desire. When a man is emotionally invested, he doesn't just want to be around you, he needs to be, because the relationship adds meaning, depth, and fulfillment to his life. So how do you create this level of emotional connection? It's not about being perfect, nor is it about bending over backward to keep him happy. It's about who you are and how you make him feel when he's with you. People stay where they feel most understood. When a man feels like you truly get him, the way he thinks, what excites him, what scares him, he forms a bond that's hard to replace. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything he says, but rather that you listen with curiosity and make space for his thoughts and emotions. Most people listen to respond, but if you want a man to feel emotionally invested, listen to understand. Ask deeper questions, notice what lights him up, and pay attention to what makes him tick. When he talks about his dreams, his past, or his struggles, show genuine interest. The more he feels emotionally safe with you, the deeper his investment will be. In a world that constantly demands more from him, his career, his responsibilities, his family, a man doesn't want to come home to another source of pressure. He wants to feel like his relationship is his safe space. That doesn't mean you should tolerate poor behavior or accept less than you deserve. It means that rather than adding to his stress with unnecessary drama, you become the person he wants to turn to when things get tough. He needs to know that when he shares his fears or frustrations, he won't be met with judgment but with support. A man stays hooked when he associates you with relief, when he sees you as someone who makes his life better, not heavier. The most unforgettable relationships aren't built on routine conversations or predictable dates. They're built on experiences that evoke deep emotions, adventure, vulnerability, laughter, challenge, excitement. Men don't just fall in love with a person, they fall in love with how they feel when they're around that person. If every interaction feels transactional or stagnant, he won't form the kind of emotional bond that makes him need to be with you. But if he associates you with adventure, inspiration, and emotional depth, you become someone irreplaceable. Try new things together, travel, have deep late-night conversations, be playful, share vulnerable moments. The more emotionally rich the experiences you create together, the stronger his investment will be. People value what they put effort into. If a man feels like he had to work to earn your time, respect, and love, he's going to value you more. If everything comes too easily, if he never has to show up, put in effort, or prove his commitment, he won't feel the same level of attachment. This doesn't mean playing hard to get in an artificial way. It means having boundaries, standards, and self-respect. It means allowing him to show you through his actions that he's willing to invest in you. When a man puts effort into a relationship, it creates a sense of ownership. He chooses to be there, and that choice strengthens his emotional connection. A woman who makes a man want to be better, not because she pressures him, but because she inspires him, is a woman he won't want to let go of. If he sees that you are growing, challenging yourself, and living a life filled with purpose, he'll feel emotionally invested in growing alongside you. Men don't just fall in love with beauty or attraction. They fall in love with energy. If you bring passion, positivity, and purpose into the relationship, you become someone he doesn't just want, but someone he needs to have in his life. As a common mistake many people make in relationships, they think that being constantly available will make them more desirable, that by always answering his calls, always saying yes to plans, and always making him a priority, he'll see how much they care and never want to let go. But that's not how attraction works. Being available doesn't make you irresistible. It doesn't make you unforgettable. What truly makes a man hooked is when he sees you as a high-value woman, someone who enriches his life while maintaining her own. A high-value woman isn't just there for convenience. She isn't an option that's always on standby. She's someone who brings depth, excitement, and challenge into a man's life, not because she's playing hard to get, but because she genuinely has a life that excites her, goals that drive her, and standards that she won't lower for just anyone. So what does it really mean to be high value instead of just available? Nothing makes a man more emotionally invested than seeing a woman who is already fulfilled, who has passions, ambitions, and a sense of purpose beyond the relationship. When a woman builds her entire world around a man, she might think she's being loving, but in reality, she's making herself replaceable. If her happiness depends on him, if her days revolve around waiting for his calls, if she stops investing in her own dreams, she loses the very spark that made her attractive in the first place. A high-value woman doesn't need a man to feel complete. She chooses to be with him because he adds to an already fulfilling life. And that energy, that independence, that's what keeps a man hooked. Because he knows that being with her is a privilege, not a favor. A woman who is constantly available often falls into the trap of prioritizing his needs, his wants, his schedule, while neglecting her own. She bends over backward to make things easy for him, fearing that saying no will push him away. But the truth is, men don't value what they don't have to work for. A high-value woman has standards. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with her worth. She doesn't tolerate last-minute plans just because he finally decided to call. She doesn't accept inconsistency, mixed signals, or emotional breadcrumbs. And because of that, men respect her. When a man sees that you have a strong sense of self, when he realizes that he has to step up to meet your standards, he won't take you for granted. He'll feel a sense of urgency to show up as his best self because he knows that if he doesn't, someone else will. One of the biggest mistakes women make when they really like a guy is making themselves too available. They respond to every text instantly, rearrange their schedules to accommodate him, and say yes to every opportunity to see him, without ever giving him a chance to miss them. But desire thrives in space. If he always knows you're there, he doesn't have the chance to wonder about you, to think about you, to crave your presence. A high-value woman isn't waiting around. She's living her life. She's busy building her future, spending time with friends, pursuing her passions. And that, ironically, makes him want her more. When a man doesn't feel like he automatically has your time and attention, he starts to appreciate it more. He starts to put in effort. And that effort, that's what deepens emotional investment. A high-value woman isn't just attractive, she's intriguing. She brings something into a man's life that he doesn't get from everyone else. It could be her intelligence, her sense of humor, her passion for something unique. It could be the way she makes him see the world differently, the way she inspires him to be better, the way she challenges him instead of just agreeing with everything he says. Being physically attractive can capture a man's attention, but being a woman of substance, that's what keeps him hooked. When he realizes that he's not just dating someone who's nice or sweet, but someone who adds real value to his life, someone who makes him think, who pushes him out of his comfort zone, who makes him feel alive, he won't just want to be around you, he'll feel like he needs to be. People treat you based on the standards you set. If you make yourself too available, if you accept behavior that doesn't meet your needs, if you keep giving without receiving effort in return, you're teaching him that he doesn't have to prioritize you. A high-value woman sets the tone early. She communicates her needs with confidence. She isn't afraid to walk away if something isn't fulfilling her. And because of that, men step up for her. She doesn't chase. She doesn't beg for time, love, or commitment. She attracts it because she knows that her value isn't in her availability, but in the quality of what she brings to the table. There's something undeniably captivating about a woman who knows how to balance mystery and authenticity. Men are naturally drawn to intrigue, to the feeling that there is more to discover about someone, that each interaction peels back another layer. But at the same time, they crave genuine connection, the kind that makes them feel safe, seen, and understood. The problem is most people fall too far to one side or the other. Some women are too mysterious. They reveal nothing, keep their emotions guarded, and never let a man in. This might create temporary intrigue, but over time, it builds distance rather than connection. On the other hand, some women are too open, sharing every detail of their thoughts, feelings, and past from the very beginning. And while vulnerability is beautiful, oversharing too soon can kill attraction by removing the sense of excitement and discovery. So how do you strike the perfect balance? How do you keep a man intrigued while building a real emotional bond? When something is fully revealed and understood, it no longer holds the same fascination. Think about a book or a movie. If someone spoils the entire plot in the first 5 minutes, there's no excitement left. A relationship works the same way. Mystery isn't about playing games or withholding affection. It's about letting things unfold naturally instead of laying everything on the table at once. A high-value woman doesn't feel the need to over-explain herself. She lets a man earn the deeper layers of her personality, not because she's being secretive, but because she values organic connection. She knows that real chemistry isn't about dumping her entire life story in the first few dates. It's about leaving space for curiosity, for new conversations, for surprises that keep the dynamic fresh and exciting. Many people mistake openness for connection, thinking that if they share their deepest thoughts and experiences up front, it will fast-track emotional intimacy. But there's a difference between being real and oversharing as a way to seek validation. A high-value woman shares herself in a way that feels natural, not forced. She opens up when it's relevant to the moment, not because she feels pressured to prove her worth. If you find yourself telling a man everything too soon, pause and ask, am I sharing this because I genuinely want to, or because I want him to like me? Would I reveal this to a close friend this early on, or am I doing it because I feel I have to impress him? Does this moment feel right for this level of depth, or am I rushing it? By being intentional about what you share, you keep your sense of intrigue while still being authentic. One of the best ways to balance mystery and authenticity is to show a man who you are, rather than just telling him. Instead of saying, I'm adventurous, let him discover that side of you by the way you live your life, through the stories you tell, the passions you pursue, and the experiences you create. Instead of saying, I'm a deep thinker, let him see your depth in the way you engage in meaningful conversations. Mystery isn't about hiding who you are, it's about revealing it gradually in a way that keeps things exciting. Nothing is more intriguing than a woman who is emotionally secure and independent. When a man senses that you are not dependent on him for validation, he respects you on a deeper level. You don't need constant reassurance to feel secure. You're comfortable with moments of silence rather than feeling the need to fill every gap with words. You trust that he'll make the effort to get to know you rather than forcing connection. Mystery isn't just about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself. A woman who is confident in her own presence automatically exudes intrigue. Men are wired to value what they have to earn. If everything is handed to them immediately, if they know everything about you within the first few weeks, the dynamic loses excitement. The key to balancing mystery and authenticity isn't about creating a persona. It's about being yourself, but letting things unfold at a natural pace. A high-value woman doesn't fake mystery by being cold or distant. Instead, she's intriguing because she's genuinely passionate, interesting, and selective about who gets access to her world. She knows that her presence alone is valuable, that her thoughts, her experiences, and her emotions are worthy of being earned. And because of that, she never rushes intimacy. She lets a man fall for her one layer at a time, keeping him hooked, not just by what she reveals, but by what he knows there's still more to discover. There is nothing more captivating, intoxicating, and unforgettable than a woman who carries herself with confidence. Confidence isn't just about how you look, how you speak, or how you dress. It's about how you carry yourself. in every interaction, every relationship, and every decision you make. A confident woman knows her worth, and because she does, she never settles for less than she deserves. She sets her standards high, not because she's demanding, but because she respects herself too much to accept anything less. And that kind of energy, that kind of self-respect, it's magnetic. Men are drawn to confident women, not because they are difficult to get, but because they are rare. A woman who truly believes in her own value doesn't need to chase, beg, or compromise herself just to keep a man interested. Instead, she creates an environment where a man feels lucky to be in her life because he knows she has the power to walk away if he doesn't treat her right. A confident woman doesn't need external validation to feel good about herself. She doesn't wait for a man's approval before she believes she's beautiful, intelligent, or worthy of love. She already knows these things. When you know your worth, you don't accept bare minimum effort from a man, tolerate disrespect or inconsistency, over-explain yourself, or seek permission to be who you are. Instead, you expect effort because you give effort. Command respect by respecting yourself first. Let go of people who don't treat you well without second-guessing your decision. And the moment a man senses that you won't accept anything less than what you deserve, he's hooked. Because now he knows he has to step up to be with you. A lot of women worry that having high standards will push men away. But here's the truth. The wrong men will leave, but the right men will rise to the occasion. Having standards isn't about being demanding. It's about knowing what you bring to the table and refusing to accept anything that doesn't match your level of energy, commitment, and value. A high-value woman doesn't tolerate men who play mind games, men who are inconsistent, men who take more than they give, because she knows that the right man won't need to be convinced to treat her well. He'll just do it. One of the strongest things you can do to keep a man hooked is show him that you are not afraid to walk away. Men respect a woman who doesn't cling to a relationship out of fear of being alone. When a man sees that you are perfectly fine with or without him, something clicks in his mind. She's different. She's not afraid to lose me. That means she has options. That means I need to step up. Walking away doesn't mean playing games. It doesn't mean creating drama. It simply means that when someone doesn't meet your standards, you choose yourself over the relationship. Every single time. True confidence doesn't need to prove anything. It doesn't need to beg for attention, overcompensate, or constantly seek reassurance. A woman who is secure in herself knows she is enough, and because of that, she moves differently. She doesn't need to post every moment of her life online to prove her worth. She doesn't need to test a man's love by creating unnecessary drama. She doesn't need to put others down to feel better about herself. Instead, she radiates a quiet strength, a kind of unshakable self-assurance that draws people in effortlessly. A desperate energy pushes people away, while a confident energy pulls them in. When you need a man to like you, you become overly available, agreeable, and eager to please. And while kindness and generosity are beautiful traits, men don't fall for women who make themselves too easy to impress. They fall for women who make them work for their attention. Confidence makes a man feel like he has to earn your love, your time, and your energy. And the more he feels he has to earn it, the more he values it. A confident woman doesn't rely on a man to make her feel complete. She already feels whole on her own. She doesn't wait for a man to make her happy, fulfill her dreams, or give her life meaning. She builds a life she loves. And if a man wants to be part of it, he has to add to that happiness, not be the source of it. And that's what makes a man want to stay, commit, and invest. Because deep down, men don't want to feel like they are responsible for a woman's happiness. They want to feel like they are choosing a woman who is already fulfilled, and they get to be the lucky one who adds to her joy. Have you ever noticed that people value things more when they've had to work for them? It's a universal truth. Whether it's a promotion, a fitness goal, or even a luxury item, the harder it is to attain, the more meaningful it becomes. And the same principle applies to relationships. Men, by nature, are wired for pursuit. They thrive on challenge, on overcoming obstacles, on feeling like they've earned something truly special. And when it comes to love and attraction, a relationship that keeps him engaged is one that keeps him on his toes. Not by playing mind games, but by maintaining a dynamic, exciting, and slightly unpredictable connection. If a relationship becomes too easy, too predictable, or too available, it starts to lose its spark. But when a man feels like he has to continuously show up, step up, and earn your affection, that's when he stays invested, engaged, and deeply hooked. Think about a time when you had to really work for something, a job, a personal goal, or even a skill. Now, compare that to a time when something just fell into your lap with no effort. Which one did you appreciate more? Men are the same way in relationships. When a man feels like he's putting in effort, whether it's planning dates, impressing you, or keeping you interested, he actually values the relationship more. This isn't about playing hard to get or making him jump through hoops just for the sake of it. It's about creating a dynamic where he feels like he's actively earning your love and attention. Men don't just want a woman they can admire. They want a woman who challenges them in the best way possible, not by being difficult, but by being someone who makes them want to be better, try harder, and keep the spark alive. So how do you create moments of challenge without pushing him away? Engage in playful teasing. If he brags about his cooking skills, playfully say, "Oh yeah? Prove it. Cook me something amazing next time." Don't always say yes. If he invites you out last minute, let him know you already have plans, even if it's just a night to yourself. Let him see that your time is valuable and he'll respect it more. Encourage competition. Play games together. Challenge him in something he enjoys, like sports or trivia, and keep a fun, competitive edge in your relationship. The key here is to be playful and lighthearted, not manipulative or distant. The goal is to create excitement, not frustration. When something is too predictable, it loses its appeal. This is true for TV shows, careers, and yes, relationships. If he always knows exactly what to expect, the relationship can start to feel routine instead of romantic. That's why a little unpredictability is essential to keeping him engaged. Some ways to add unpredictability. Switch up date nights. Instead of always going to dinner and a movie, surprise him with something different. Rock climbing, a cooking class, or even a spontaneous weekend getaway. Change up your routine. If you always text him first in the morning, switch it up and let him reach out. If you always say yes to plans, throw in a "not this time" every now and then. Be spontaneous. Send him a flirty text out of nowhere. Change your look unexpectedly, or introduce him to a new passion of yours. It's not about being unpredictable all the time. It's about keeping just enough mystery to make things exciting. Men love to feel like they are winning a prize. Not because women are objects, but because the effort they put in makes the relationship feel meaningful. Encouraging a man to step up doesn't mean playing games or acting unavailable. It means setting a standard that he has to meet. If he puts in effort, reward it with your appreciation. If he starts taking things for granted, pull back slightly and let him notice. If he assumes you'll always be there no matter what, remind him through your actions that you choose to be with him, but you don't need to be. 5. Let him feel the thrill of winning you over. Attraction thrives in a space of excitement, challenge, and anticipation. If a man feels like he already has you 100% with no effort on his part, he may start to take that for granted. Not because he's bad, but because humans tend to value things that require effort. It's easy to get caught up in wondering, does he like me? Is he still interested? Am I doing enough to keep him hooked? But here's the real question that should be guiding you. Do you like him? Does he deserve you? Is this relationship adding to your happiness? The moment you shift your focus from seeking a man's approval to standing in your own power, everything changes. You stop chasing, you stop overthinking, and you stop compromising who you are just to fit into his world. Instead, you start owning your worth, setting your standards, and choosing from a place of confidence rather than insecurity. Attraction isn't about bending over backward to be what you think he wants. It's about being so grounded in yourself that he can't help but admire and respect you. A woman who knows her value isn't wondering if she's good enough for a man, she's deciding if he is good enough for her. One of the biggest mistakes women make is giving their power away by looking for constant validation. It can be subtle. Maybe you overanalyze his texts, waiting for the perfect response. Maybe you dress a certain way because you think he'll like it more. Maybe you hesitate to speak your mind because you don't want to scare him off. The problem? When you seek his approval, you give him the power to decide your worth. And once you do that, you start to shrink, to mold yourself into someone you think he wants, rather than being the woman you truly are. Ironically, men are most attracted to women who don't need their approval. Confidence is magnetic, and confidence comes from knowing that whether he chooses you or not, you're still amazing, still valuable, and still worthy of love. Imagine you're interviewing someone for your dream job. Would you sit there hoping they like you, or would you be evaluating whether they are the right fit for you? When you do this, you naturally stop overthinking, stop settling for less, and stop giving energy to men who don't truly deserve it. You become the chooser, not the chosen, and that's when a man sits up and takes notice. A woman in her power doesn't demand a man's love. She attracts it by the way she carries herself. She doesn't beg for effort. She naturally commands it by holding a high standard. But there's a difference between expectations and standards. Expectations are demands. He should do this for me. Standards are choices. If he doesn't show up for me consistently, I won't waste my time. Men respect and value what they have to step up for. When you hold strong boundaries and refuse to accept half-hearted effort, a man sees you differently. He knows that if he wants to be in your life, he has to earn that spot. Women who stay in their power don't just wait for a man to make them happy. They create their own joy, their own success, and their own fulfillment, whether a man is there or not. This doesn't mean being emotionally unavailable or rejecting love. It means understanding that a man should add to your happiness, not be the source of it. When a man sees that you are already happy, confident, and fulfilled, he feels drawn to that energy. He sees that you're with him because you want to be, not because you need to be. And that makes him respect and value the relationship even more. One of the most powerful things a woman can do is walk away from what doesn't serve her. A man who knows that you're willing to walk away if he doesn't treat you right will never take you for granted. He understands that you're not just another option. You're a woman who knows her worth and won't settle for anything less. The secret to keeping a man hooked isn't about playing games, seeking his approval, or molding yourself into what you think he wants. It's about standing in your own power. When you shift your mindset from "does he like me" to "do I like him," you take control of your happiness. You stop overthinking, stop chasing, and stop settling for less than you deserve. Instead, you set high standards, prioritize your own joy, and radiate confidence, the kind of confidence that naturally commands respect and admiration. A man stays hooked when he sees that you are with him by choice, not by necessity. He values what he has to earn, and he respects a woman who knows her worth. When you walk in that energy, when you become the prize instead of trying to win one, you don't just keep him hooked, you give him every reason to never let you go.